Yeah, 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 yeah. Hello. So I'm going to talk to you about money, and I do realize this is a city, BlackRock City, where there is no money. So just to make sure that it's a familiar topic, I'm going to ask a simple question. If anybody in this room ever did use money? Okay, there are quite a few. And that's what actually is really amazing about money, that almost everybody on this planet uses it every single day. But what really amazes me is that so few people who use it try to think about what money is, how it works, and how it might maybe work in a different way. Because money is just a tool, and as every other tool, I feel it can be refined, redefined, maybe changed. Another thing which amazes me is that there are 7 billion people which use money. There are only like 1.5 billion Facebook users, so money is way more popular. But it does not unite us. It really seems to be the thing which divides us most. And to be honest, until recently, I did not think about how money works or how it could work in a different way. I'm an artist, have been an artist all my life. It still shows a little bit in my suit down there with some paint splatters. And I was just anti-money, as a lot of artists are, because as an artist, when you create, it's this thing which comes from your gut feeling. I think I should actually use my finger to have slides coming. It's this thing that comes from your gut feeling. It's an expression of your pure self. And when you grow up between parentheses, you enter the real world and you realize that it's not about expressing your true self. It's just about making money. So for a long period, I just used to see the world as an artist. I saw it as a kind of real playground, but at the same time, it was a parking lot, and it seemed you just needed to throw money in the parking meter, otherwise you would get towed away. But then it changed, because as an art project, I started my own bank 3 years ago, the Exchanghibition Bank. And as an artist, when you use a material, you need to study your material. When you use paint, acrylic paint, you need to know how it works. And I'm still looking at the slides, they're not really there. But when you use paint, you need to study it. And then I needed to study money. And I, as a real bank director, I actually got obsessed by money. And I think it's something very fascinating, because it's not really, it has no value in itself. It's not been backed by gold or any other tangible asset for at least the last 40 years. It doesn't really even exist anymore. It's just digits. But still, it has this kind of magic, and we really want to have it. But it does have a value. It does have a value when you use it as an exchange. And that's what this Exchanghibition Bank became all about. And I guess I'll forget the slides because they're not coming there. But anyway, it's a traveling bank booth, and we bring it to a lot of different places. The bank has been set up here at Burning Man. It has been at various festivals. It went to museums. It's been at real banks, shopping centers, Amsterdam Central Station. And what people can do there is exchange their money, or we rather call it spiritually launder their money, for Exchanghibition banknotes. And these banknotes have values, denominations, which try to make us aware of value. So there's a banknote which has denomination 0. And when it says 0, what is its value? It means you have to assign a value to it. And in our society, money, one of the characteristics of our current monetary system is that it quantifies everything. It puts a number on everything, and somehow we forgot to really value that what's really valuable and can't be like quantified. It's because I think for ages people have tried to find the Philosopher's stone that would magically change lead into gold, but we found something. We found money, and it's changing all these qualities of life into quantities, just measurable heaps of smaller or bigger piles of cash. And I feel we forgot that there's financial values, which are important, but there are spiritual values, social values, emotional values, artistic values, and that's what we're trying to make people aware of. It's one part of money, so that it quantifies everything. And there's another banknote, it's 1 million, and it has this magic because so many people, and I'm sure there are people out here as well, who want to be a millionaire. It's magical to be a millionaire. But when you realize that money somehow, it's just digits. I mean, if a bank falls, you go into your internet account, the only thing that changes is you can't log in anymore. It's not backed by gold, but as I said, I feel it has a big value in exchange. So instead of hoarding it on our bank account, it would be much better if we would really use it together. But our current monetary system has a positive interest system, so it kind of stimulates you to keep it. But there are I don't know if you're familiar with complementary currency systems, so people start other forms of money. And some of those actually have a negative interest. And this might sound strange, but I would like to use a simple, more maybe visual example. Say you put a container out here in BlackRockCity this year, fill it with 10,000 apples, put a lock on it and come back next year and open the container. I don't know how it's going to look, but for sure there won't be like this 3% interest and a few more apples. Instead, in the whole year, you could have used those apples to give them to people, exchange them, make lots of things happen together. And there's another banknote, it's the infinite banknote, and it's another dream of people. A lot of people have dreams, but they always say like, yeah, but I would love to do my dreams and live them, but I don't have the money for them. And we kind of get taught as well that first you need financial security, and then preferably when you're like 65 and go with retirement, then you can start doing what you really need to do. And I'm not a religious person, but I do feel that we're here for a kind of reason. And it's not only artists that have a gut feeling. Deep inside, we kind of all know that we really want to do something. And then when you look back, I mean, what's more important, what you did or the money that you earned and that you anyway would have spent? And like I think 12 years ago, and I'm from Amsterdam in the Netherlands, I built a big ship in the Netherlands, a three-master. I shipped it here and I burned it in the desert. My accountant thought I went totally nuts. And for years I did have financial problems, but when I look back in retrospect, for that money I could have bought a pretty nice car, but that car 12 years later would not be worth anything anymore. But I'm still, if people ask me what's the best money you spent, I do think it was that, because the lessons learned, the experiences, they just grow over time. And so I feel there's this one thing about value, that money is quantifying everything, we forget other values. But I came to realize, and this is interesting about doing this project, that I was really anti-money, and as a true bank director, I started loving money. And I kind of want to tell a bit the story about that, because it's, so there's all these other values that are important, but also money itself. Now it's purely financial, but I do feel that money itself, how strangely this may sound, can have many other values, and that's not by changing our total system, but in our everyday actions and just how we use it. And last year we brought another project here. It was the transfer money tree. It was a tree which had Exchanghibition Bank notes hanging from its branches, and we asked people for real money here, which meant people had to go back to their RV, look where they hid their money, bring it back to us, and then they could glue that money onto our tree, draw on it, paint on it, because it was real physical money, not our digital version, and then glue it on the tree. And some people said, like, you're destroying money. And it's partly true, but I don't feel that's exactly what's happening. What was happening, that we destroyed the financial value of the money, but the tree itself became really powerful, and it just took on other values. And now, for instance, when I use money, I try to always realize, and I think a lot of people, when they buy stuff, it's this one-way transaction, but it's not a one-way transaction, because we buy something and we give money back. And I feel it's so important that we do think about who do we give that money back to. And when we did the bank project, actually before going to Burning Man, we stopped at Walmart because somebody needed to get something from Walmart, and I just didn't want to go in there because I hate that place. And I was walking around on the parking lot and looking around, and just every second car had Burning Man logos on it. And I realized that actually the Burning Man community was supporting Walmart. And if we kind of would use money and really see it as an exchange and only use it with people we love, for initiatives we love, and exchange it with love, I think then it becomes something that really could unite us. And there's gift economy here. When I'm in the Netherlands and explain projects, it's kind of always difficult to explain gift economy because there seems to be gift economy here and there's money economy on the other side. And these two are so far apart. But I feel if money would have much more the quality of a gift and they would become much closer to each other, for me in the future it would be great if for every transaction we could kind of choose, do we want to choose gift economy, money economy, or maybe an alternative currency. And as I said, it's been a journey going from being anti-money to loving money, and one of the first times I actually realized that money could really be a gift was when 2 years ago I needed to bring the Exchanghibition Bank here from the Netherlands. I mean, I went to all the shipping companies, nobody accepted my millions, infinites, zeros, so I needed real money, and I did a crowdfunding campaign. And every time people donated money, it was amazing for someone who actually, like me, was anti-money, because it felt like a real gift, because people would donate money, and sometimes it was $1, sometimes a big amount, but they would always instantly also write an email how much they loved the project, how much they thought it was important. And I realized if you use money in that way, it does bond people. And also last year I gave a talk about money at the Envision Festival in Costa Rica, and just to try, as a kind of going in the right mindset, I put on this suit and tie. I always put on the suit and tie when it's really hot and it's like the worst costume ever. But I went around to all these various stalls, food stands and merchandise stands, and I tried to pay with my money, with 0, million. And what was amazing, that not only at every stand I could buy something, but there was this real interaction. Like I would give 0 and people would say, like, no, we're not going to give you a cappuccino for a 0, but for an infinite, yes. And other people would come and there would be this whole nice interaction, and it would really bring us together. But now when I'm in the Netherlands and I go to a shop, or I'm here and I pay something with $5, nobody goes like, oh man, these are amazing $5, what's your name? And no, people will just not even look at you and put that money away. So actually something new that we did with the Exchanghibition Bank is because I realized that when I think that money is quantifying everything, I realized that making banknotes like 0, million, infinite is also putting a quantity on stuff. So I tried to make banknotes with real value, and the first one had value love. And why did we issue that banknote? So people could actually materialize the fact that when they pay someone, that they do it because they really love those people, and it's like you can add love to your payments, and suddenly it becomes a real interaction. It's like when you drink coffee, it's a simple example, but you don't go to Starbucks, you go to the local coffee shop, and not only do you get coffee, but you are actually giving them energy back and enabling them to do what they do. And it's just a whole, I feel it's a whole different way of looking at money. I'm just looking there how much time I have. 1 minute? Okay, so I'll wrap this up. And that's been my journey, going from anti-money to loving money. And I feel that there's a lot of people that hate money, and there's far more people that love money, but it would be much more interesting to take a look at our system, how it works, and not only think like, oh, it's a hopeless system and we can't change anything. No, I do feel we live in this time with internet and digital media where it would be actually great if money would also become 2.0, and we as a user could influence the way it works. And it was even like last year at Burning Man, when people drew on money, it's a federal offense here, so I felt a little bit like, hey, I'm maybe a terrorist organization enabling this. But it's just the fact that you are not even allowed to choose the way you use that tool. And I think it would be great if in the future it would not be that money is the root of all evil, but love would become the root of all money. Thank you.